How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to finish off Paper Factory Section C, and yeah, didn't go quite as smoothly as originally planned, hence why the video is a bit of a long one, but I had a good old time. You'll see some, of course, some goddamn horse or vehicle action. So basically, first thing I'm going to do, send the Dolphin, got to grab some metal beams. I'm going to cut through the farm, because I'd like to grab that. There's like a brick house, rob the 3 little pigs, get their bricks, and yeah, then cut through past the metal rolls factory, change the beams into rolls, because if you can see in the top right, I need, is it 4 metal beams, 4 metal rolls, and 6 lots of bricks. So like I say, if I can get 4 metal rolls done with this one, and grab 2 of the bricks, that kind of will help a little bit down the line. So yeah, for this little stage of the mission, the classics are back, Dolphin and Loaf. Sometimes you just can't beat a classic. I know I could go around to the right. To be honest, I still do use like going round to the right sometimes, but I've said it before, it can honestly bite me just as bad as going this way. And generally speaking, with an empty trailer and stuff, you can get through there pretty easily. That was a little glitch, but not really complaining when it cuts out that little slow river action. I mean, we've even got a colour-coded horse with us. Attention to details. Yeah, if you remember as well, back in like the first video, I did already have the Azov here, and if you remember, there was like 4 lots of cement scattered everywhere from the mission where I built some bricks, and I kind of rolled one of the trailers. Well, in between part 1 and this part, I basically just tidied things up. I think I refueled the generator a bit. While I had the Azov there, obviously it had the crane on it, so I craned all the cement, put all the metal beams back into that cargo creation zone, just so I could kind of start this part 2 again, because yeah, in the end I didn't want this bit in part 1 because it was already getting long enough. To be fair, I was hoping this video was going to be like nearer, I don't know, 35 minutes, but again, you'll see the Loaf does pull off the impossible near enough. I mean, Houdini would be proud. Who wouldn't be proud of a goddamn horse or a vehicle? But yeah, some serious action. It was emotional, it was everything. Anyway, as you'll see, when we spin around here, there's another goddamn little horse or vehicle hiding in the trees. And he has, of course, got the right footwear on, as usual. So he's wearing some Tatran shoes. To be honest, the Dolphin actually goes not too badly through this farm. Generally speaking, it's not going to sit in high range. But it'll go in the... I don't know, actually. I'll take that back. For the most part, the Dolphin does get through patches of this in the high range, but it can be touch and go, and obviously once you lose it in the high range, it's hard to get it back into high range. But considering how slow this farm section is, the Dolphin is one of the better ones at going through here. However, I don't even know why, really. I just fancied seeing what the Tatran was like at towing a vehicle through here. I know the Tatran's obviously got like sort of special OP tyres, in a good way. I mean, the thing is literally just a chassis full of tyres. And yeah, it's very good heavy, like it can haul some serious weight really, partly due to its really good grip. So yeah, I just wanted to see what it's like, and it was going pretty well. I mean, of course, like I say, had to bring another horse with us just in case. The Tatran roof rack is only 150 repair points, which, I mean, the Loaf's is twice as big. That's what she said. Yeah, the Loaf's got 300 points, so now my Tatran has 450 points. And whatever winch I've got on the Tatran, I could have the opposite winch, so like autonomous and advanced on either one, so then it's kind of got both types of winches. I mean, there's a Loaf for every job. Whatever it is you need to do, send in a Loaf, and he'll do it. There's the magic of the Loaf. Yeah, I think we got hooked on a tree or something. Has that happened already? I can't remember. Again, I've been like editing this thing, well, getting the footage really as well, because I hadn't even finished this until tonight. I've been going for about the last 12 hours. We are now recording, so that's good. I didn't realise it was already coming up to like 12:30 by now, but yeah, time flies when you're messing around with a Loaf, but in a good way. But yeah, I've got a bit behind on things. Again, this is probably going to upload a little bit late, but we got there in the end. The other reason why I wanted to bring the Tatran, actually, just kind of had a flashback and remembered. I'm kind of going this way. If you remember, I've used this way before, kind of both ways to be honest, where you can skip from like this little farm island over to that middle island. Like I said, there's a 3 little pigs brick house sat there that we are, of course, going to steal from them. And to be, well, I was going to actually say at this point, yeah, the Tatrin was kind of motoring through this section, and then it kind of got stuck and went really slow, and then Dolphin and Loaf behind started catching up to the point where it basically started pushing the Tatrin through. And to be fair, this is a very difficult section to cross. I don't know, maybe there was a stone that kind of went under the chassis of the Tatrin, because the Tatrin's not the tallest vehicle in the world, and if you do get a stone kind of under the chassis, it's just a big smooth plate under the Tatrin, but it can kind of beach itself on rocks fairly easily. Maybe that's what happened, because as soon as I got ahead of it, it kind of took the slack up on the winch and we're off. Yeah, there's the house. We are going to steal, of course. And again, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go round and kind of rob these brick houses, or I wanted to kind of leave some of them on the map, the same way I've done with the wood houses and the metal framed buildings as well. But then I kind of thought, the other mission the other day or week or whenever it was, I basically did the whole bricks thing, took cement, took, what was it called, packaged sand or whatever, down to the quarry, built bricks, and did my thing. So I looked around, there's more brick frame buildings than just 3, so I kind of thought, sod it, we'll raid some, because to be honest, I haven't really raided too many of them. I don't think I've done any of the brick ones yet, so I kind of thought we'll see how it goes. And this, by the way, is part of the reason why I brought the Dolphin, was because I kind of had a feeling I might need to wear some bricks like a hat. And that is also why the Loaf isn't on the roof of the Dolphin at the minute, because I had a choice, basically. Obviously, I've got 2 metal beams on my trailer. I could fit 1 lot of bricks on the back of the trailer. I could have had the Loaf on my head and then put the bricks on the step deck bit, but they won't pack there. And as you can see, if I put them on my head, I can have the crane sat there kind of pinning them down. As well, another thing, I assume it still works, I've got a snorkel sticking up out the top of the Dolphin, and when you drop the bricks or any cargo on them, it used to do this. I can't confirm it 100%, but the cargo would kind of phase through the snorkel, but it would also lock it in place. So if you imagine like the cargo was kind of like, had no hitbox underneath, but it had a hitbox on the side walls, so once it kind of hooked over the snorkel, it couldn't slide off. Again, I can't 100% say if that's still the case, but it certainly used to be. Either way, I'd be better off, yeah, with the bricks on my head. Like, and to be fair, the Loaf is chilling, he's pretty happy on his trailer. Again, that's another reason I do like this step deck trailer. Even there, I was basically beaching the trailer a bit, I believe, but because there's just nice smooth rails kind of all the way underneath the trailer, versus that 8 slot, which they've managed to stick, I don't know, everything, like a fridge, a barbecue, who knows, a boat probably. Everything with dodgy, annoying angles is sticking out the bottom of that 8 slot trailer, so that gets caught on absolutely everything. That's all they'd need to do with the 8 slot to make it a lot better, is just clear all the crap off it from underneath, and preferably make the legs go a little bit higher. I don't even need to say it, but yeah, they just get in the way a hell of a lot too much, to be honest. Anyway, we're, yeah, got past that section, we've robbed the 3 little pigs and we're off. Home is in sight. I always really like this view as I'm driving past here. Always have to have a little look. I do spend more time looking at the view and just generally things other than where I'm going. Hence why I tend to crash quite a lot. And then yeah, I was flying along, having a good old time now. Again, enjoying the view. Went flying into the paper mill and realised, oh yeah, shit, I forgot I need metal rolls. So, stuck a handy on, flung it around, and we're off. We're off back to the yeah, the metal rolls factory. That's what I need to do. I mean, I do need to deliver some metal beams, but if I dropped those 2 beams off, I'd still need 2 more beams, and that essentially means with the P16 later, I'd have to get 4 lots of metal beams, and then I'd still have to go to the metal rolls factory with an 8 slot trailer, which would be a lot more annoying than this is. As you can see, I kind of, again, if you see my video the other day where I can't remember what it was for, to be honest. Maybe paper factory section A or something. But I used got some metal rolls and then I flew down this hill, so I kind of figured we'll see if the Dolphin can climb up it. And to its credit, considering the gearboxes have been doing that dodgy kind of no rev thing recently, it muscled its way up there very nicely indeed. However, as you can hear, I blipped the revs then, so that didn't really help the situation, and then it just kind of did that thing where it's gone really gutless. I mean, it's got diffs lock and all-wheel drive always on, but you can see the tyres were juddering. And yeah, I mean, what did I do? Like, let off and then floored it again, and I don't know what it is they've done, but something. And when I blipped the throttle when I got to the top, it just kind of cut all my power. But thankfully not for long, and yeah, as you can see again, I mean, that step deck trailer was like beached on the brow of that hill, but I was able to, yeah, keep it pinned, fingers crossed. But it actually skidded its way up there. The 8 slot would dig in for dear life, and possibly not even the loaf himself. But now, what am I talking about? Of course he'd get that 8 slot up there. He gets it everywhere. So, beams, rolls, rolls. Oh yeah, as you can see as well, I'm still wearing some bricks like a hat, but I did drop one set of bricks off at the paper factory. If I'm honest, I don't really know why I didn't take the ones off my head, if anything. I think I just realised that I needed beams as I was dropping like stuff off, so I kind of forgot that I was wearing the bricks. But you gotta admit, I think it looks pretty good. It suits the Dolphin pretty well. As you can see from the lines I'd drawn, my theory was to climb that hill, come this way into the metal rolls factory, go out the other way and just follow the road and loop back round. However, curiosity killed the cat. Laziness is probably going to kill me, because I just like, yep, shortcuts, I'm on my way. What actually counts? I was thinking about this earlier. Like, does a shortcut have to be shorter, time-wise, or just shorter, length-wise? Or does it matter? Well, it must matter. I mean, it wouldn't qualify as a shortcut. It'd have to be at least one of them. Or does it have to be both? Anyway, yeah, I was going into deep thought myself there. Forgot I was making a video. So yeah, flying back down here. I learnt from last time, don't swing a hard left when you're still halfway down the hill. Let it roll all the way down to the bottom first, hit the road, now swing a hard left. Little victory horn, we've earned it, and we're off. This time with the correct cargo, which is nice. Yeah, so what's that? It's the metal rolls down. Like I said, that's also 2 of the bricks down, which is nice, just because I'm going to send the Azov Antarctic in the... Well, I don't even know if I knew that by this point, but... maybe I did. Yeah, but either way, I was like, now I've got 2 lots of bricks done. I only need to get 4 bricks with whatever vehicle I take out to, yeah, get the bricks, which just makes life a lot easier. So you can see, things are getting pretty full around here, but we'll squeeze it in. That is definitely what she said. We made it. Finally, the right type of metal things. Again, slow menus. But what that guy said to me the other week does make sense, that they make it slower to drop stuff off on mission things, just to reduce the chances of like a glitch, which I agree. If one of my 4 metal rolls just vanished there and then and didn't count, just imagine the extra effort. I'd basically have to drive all the way back to Cargo Creation Zone 1 to get another metal beam, and then back to the roll factory. Like, yeah, I'd basically have to do everything I've just done already. So what are we, 14 minutes into the video, and I've probably done a bit of editing, so it'd cost you 15-20 minutes if it glitched like that, so I kind of get it. And anyway, yeah, I've got to pack the bricks in order to deliver them, which is a goddamn travesty, because if that wasn't the case, I could have and would have and have attempted before to deliver stuff with a loaf, just stick cargo on his head. Next up, goddamn beast of a horn. Yeah, the P16. I know I've got the 8 slot. I know I've told myself repeatedly, do not use the 8 slot. However, I've given myself an exception on this one, mainly because I need to get 4 metal beams, which is 8 slots, and I'm either going to have to do a road train, which I don't mind, but I've done quite a lot of road trains. But the other thing is, they've actually put the paper factory in a relatively decent place. So once I get the metal beams, and let's just say I've drove back across this river and I'm kind of outside the garage again with the beams, I've basically got to follow the main road down to the fuel station, turn left, and although there is some boggy sections, it's essentially a fairly straight road, and then I've got to make a right-hand turn into the paper factory. So yeah, there's not really much in the way of like crazy bumps, off-roading, twists and turns or anything like that, so I kind of thought, we'll give it a go, we'll see. Also, it was I mean, sort of credit where it's due, you can see the stuff underneath the 8 slot was already getting hooked on that rock. Yeah, the P16 is not even all-wheel drive, and it's towing an 8 slot, and it motored through that river better than most things have, to be honest. Again, that's one reason I really do like the P16. It feels very well balanced, and it's one of those trucks that makes you feel good because, yeah, it feels like it does what you'd expect it to do, and that's good. Like I say, when you get something that's a bit of a letdown, it's just that, a bit of a letdown. But this, I never really finished with the P16 feeling like, well, that let me down a bit, and you know, it wasn't very good or whatever. It's just like, yeah, it's always cheered me up, kept me happy, kept me going. It's still, even now, is definitely one of my favourite trucks in the game. It is pretty high up on the list. Although, you see, I was reversing now, having a good old time. I didn't even think this was possible when the trailer was at an angle. However, I was like, wow, that was not the plan. And you see, I could have cut and run, but when I'm in the mood, I could have just saved the footage, then quit the game, reloaded it, and I probably would have just been back where I was loading the beams. But every now and then I'm in the mood, and I went for it. And in my defence, I mean, this is a P16, it's a pretty juicy vehicle to try and rescue, and an 8-slot trailer, so if anyone says I only rescue the easy stuff, every now and then when I'm in the mood, again, it's one of them things where it's like, can I be bothered, and have I got the time, is the question. But in this particular occasion, was this tonight? Do you know what, I can't even remember. I've been doing that many things tonight, and editing and messing around. I can't remember if I filmed this tonight or like a day or two ago, like just before the live stream or something. I honestly can't remember that now. But anyway, messed around with some winches. I kind of wanted to straighten the P16. I went down to the bottom, hid behind some trees, kind of pulled the P16 straight. Then I disconnected the trailer, because then that actually gave me a winch point like at the back of the P16, so I could line it up. Back down to the bottom, behind this telegraph pole, and as I've said before, the one redeeming feature really, the 8-slot, it's got a lot of flex to it, so you can get a lot of leverage. So I'm now pulling from like right at the back of the 8-slot, and as you can see, it's twisting, and it's kind of torquing, and ta-da! The goddamn horse of a vehicle does it again. I mean, again, it's not until they give my loaf a crane, there's nothing I can do, so I sent in the White Western Star to load the beams back on, and we're off. So, other than the crash, it was all going pretty well. And again, I was actually curious by now, like the P16 did pretty well on its way through here, but it was an empty trailer. And to be fair, even by now, it's already putting in a pretty good effort. A lot of stuff doesn't even get close to this far. Normally I'm having to winch to that first telegraph pole. I did get to about here and it near enough stopped dead. I'm assuming there is some kind of rock under there that I might have caught on. However, the good thing is it got far enough ahead that it could reach straight away that telegraph pole, which again, not many of them can. Normally you need to sort of do the trick where you have to put the winch on the back of the vehicle, winch to that first telegraph pole to pull your nose far enough forward to get that one. So yeah, all things considered, again, for an 8-slot trailer, 4 lots of metal beams. Well, the horse is a weightless horse because that's what he's been trained to do. He only weighs anything when he's a weight distribution life. Yeah, basically, I cut a lot out there. It just died on me up the hill. It was partly my fault, so I tried to stick it in high gear, and obviously it didn't happen, and it said stolen. So then I put it back in auto, and then it was just doing like what the game's been doing to a lot of trucks recently, where I was flooring it. The wheels were just nothing. So after a lot of faffing around, about 2 minutes of faffing around, hence why I just cut it out. I was cooking a bacon and cheese sandwich at some point as well. I mean, we didn't just rob the 3 little pigs' house. like, we ate them as well. That's how we roll. The life don't mess around. Again, that horn, therapeutic. I do like that view as well, at the top, just as you're going past the garage. I like that view even more. Goddamn horse of a vehicle with me. But yeah, I mean, well, these, another one. P16 and Loaf. It's a very enjoyable pair. And even though the P16's got the advanced special gearbox, it still gets a bit of a move on because it's got pretty big tyres, and like I said, in this game it just works that it sort of gears up the gearbox basically. The bigger the tyres, the more distance you cover in one revolution, and that's not always the case in real life with cars. It sort of can be. But again, long story short, the first car I ever owned was a Ford Escort. You gotta watch out when you tell people you bought a 14-year-old Escort. Like, next thing you know, the FBI will be rappelling through my windows. But it was a car, not a child, so don't worry. Yeah, I bought it with 17-inch alloys on it, and it essentially geared the car up, but it was too gutless to handle it, so it was horrifically slow. And even worse, it'd been done up and it had a Cosworth spoiler on it. It looked good enough to the point that people often said, "Hey, nice Cosy," and I genuinely, not once, took the credit every time. I was like, trust me, this is just offensive to Cosworths, to real Cosworths. It's so horrifically slow. But then after I sold it, somebody told me if I put smaller alloys back on it, it wouldn't have been as horrifically slow. And the other funny thing, while I'm yapping on, I was driving down the road once in it, and again it was horrifically slow. 0 to 60 was like, basically on the way home, if you shot off this roundabout as quick as you could, there was a speed camera quite a way ahead on a flat out straight, 60 mile an hour speed camera. I genuinely, just as a game, was like, I'll see if I can ever go past that speed camera above 60. Never managed it, that's how slow the car was. 0 to 60 was probably like 12 seconds or something horrific. But yeah, while I was driving down like this sort of dual carriageway once, I seen a Lamborghini Countach, so a bit of an old Lamborghini, but obviously if it was a Lamborghini with no wheels, it still would have beat me. Yeah, and he kind of drove past me while I was in the slow lane, so here's my one chance. So, and I mean, I let him get very far in front, because in order for me to have a run-up, this car needed, like, the mother of all run-ups. I needed, like, a mile to have a run-up. So eventually I got my car going from about 60 or 70 to, like, about 108. The thing's absolutely screaming and it's not too happy about it. See, if I put smaller wheels on it, I actually probably would have got about 115 out of it or something. It's just that the bigger wheels were just, the engine couldn't handle it, and it was like, yeah, made it sort of asthmatic. But I went past this Lamborghini Countach at about 108 miles an hour with the engine screaming for its life. And yeah, he must have thought it was a real Cosworth, so he didn't race. So I kind of beat a Lamborghini Countach by default, by a technicality, by bluffing my way. And yeah, I was in one of the slowest cars ever to exist. It's good times though. Well, it wasn't actually. And the alternator kept braking on the thing. Broke down on the same dual carriageway. Anyway, so enough yapping, we're back here, we're at the, oh god damn it, I was looking around with the camera, enjoying what a lovely corner I took, and then I realised I was about to smash into whatever that is, can't remember. Like the place they shoot a guy in Terminator, like a little security gate. I don't know why that came to my head, where they shoot him in Terminator. Only in the legs though, so he can't kill anyone. Yeah, came around here, as you can see. There's having to fight for room. I'm kind of stuck on the building thing, but I was just squeaking my nose forward enough until it'd offer me the chance to drop my beams off. Victory horn, that's that one down. Gonna struggle to ram anything else in. Of course, that is definitely what she said, but that is actually a true story. Yeah, I chose the Antarctic. I don't really know why. I mean, I certainly by a long shot prefer the iceberg, but this is not my modded playthrough. So I'm going to go past the paper thing factory and down here, and that's a brick thing. And even though I just drew the line across the water, there's another brick thing, and then I can loop round. Like I said, I only need 4 bricks, not 6, so that's good. yeah, I drew a line across the water, but there is a bridge further south than that, or whatever, I don't know, whichever way you got the map rotated, but there's options. Anyway, I cut ahead a little bit, because like I said, things are about to get a little bit loafy. And the Azov isn't the fastest thing in the world. It's going alright now along the roads, but the problem is, the main thing with this Antarctic is it doesn't have diff locks always on, and it bleeds so much power. Like, look at it now. It's not that it's struggling in this mud, it's just that, I don't know, some of its tyres, like you can see there, the rear ones are just spinning and they're bleeding loads of power. It's really good at giving all of its power to the wheel that has like the least resistance, so it just burns it all away with like unnecessary wheel spin. Yeah, whether you're in high or auto, so the only time this thing kind of motors along at its true speed is when you're in low range with the diffs on. Which at least it's got the special advanced special, so it's got like the 3 low range options, but still. I mean, again, that yeah, the Azov like iceberg, that Fox 450 CRF rider. I don't know if I always say that in the right order, but yeah, that modder. Yeah, the Azov iceberg is a beast. To be honest, I'd like to possibly reattempt what you're about to see. By the way, well, you're about to see me get the bricks, but it's about to take a little bit of a turn for the worse just after that. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what'd happen if I was in the same situation with the Azov iceberg. I might have to give it a go one day. So, made it down there pretty well. And by the way, I'll admit I would have brought a loaf with me anyway. However, I did actually have a specific plan to why I put the loaf on the roof. Because when I got here and I'm nicking these bricks, can you see in the background there is a bridge? I could just not be lazy, drive back up there and cross this river. But I did have in mind that I could also try and zombie winch my way over, which is why I got a loaf on the roof so he sits nice and tall. That's why I'm also waiting for the saving cogs to appear, because the idea was if it goes horribly wrong I'll just save it and mission abort. So I started driving in, and I thought, yeah, it'll probably be enough to drown the Azov. That's another reason I brought the Azov, because it's a pretty tall truck. Got to about now, I was like, well, that didn't last very long, really, did it? It's, yeah, pretty damn deep in there. Not even going to say it. Yeah, and this is why I not only had a loaf on the roof, but I made sure it was a loaf with a autonomous winch, because then even if my loaf was to drown, I could still use the winch. But, to be honest, I should have just probably saved the footage and aborted mission right about now. If you don't want to watch all this, that's cool. Skip to about, I think it was like 44:10 or something on the time stamp thing. So yeah, as you can see, now the thing I didn't plan for is obviously to use the winch on the loaf. I had to unpack it off the roof, and by unpacking it off the roof, this water was so deep, a lot deeper than I thought. I didn't think they made water this deep on this game. Like I said, you could probably have 2 P16s on top of each other and still drown both of them. Yeah, so the Azov went so low that my loaf started floating up a bit. It's weird with the loaf. Sometimes it floats, sometimes it doesn't. It was fine that it was floating there, because as you can see, basically what ended up happening, the water went so deep, I can't even see what's going on. There's like an oil slick on the surface, and I can just keep seeing it say engine stalled. I'm still zombie winching, but I just don't know which way, where I'm going, or what the hell's going on. I kind of got, as you can see, slap bang in the middle of the river. I think I started to swerve, so I disconnected the trailer behind me, so that started floating off. Originally, I was able to reach the trailer, and I was kind of zipping the loaf to it, and then pulling the Azov a bit further forward or whatever, but then the winches started being a dick. The winches are a pain in the arse in water. They don't work properly. I'll explain it in a bit, but as you can see there, it wouldn't let me winch to yeah, the trailer anymore. Even though I can, it was showing me the winch point and stuff. All it is every now and then, if you change to a vehicle and back to what you were doing, the winch points might work again. I have no idea why, but when I just randomly chose to switch to the P16, the loaf that was on it had phased through the trailer into the P16's wheel, and all hell broke loose. So I was like, oh hell no. we'll leave that for another day. Skip back to the loaf. Thankfully, a little bit of jiggling around, but that did actually fix the winch problem, so now I could reach the trailer. that again I'd released from the Azov Antarctic, and it started to drift away a bit, but the current kind of dies down here, which really doesn't help as well. The water goes so deep. You can see how deep. I think where the Azov is even deeper, but yeah, when I released the winch on the loaf there, which as you can see, the loaf then plummeted to the bottom like a goddamn scuba diving professional. So he does whatever he feels like. Sometimes he likes to float. See, now he's looking around, he's eyeballing land, and that is where he'd like to be. So now he's in a floating mood again. So I'm hoovering him next to the trailer, because if you can't already work out, my loaf has got plans to be a land-lubbing loaf. So yes, we used the trailer like a raft. I floated my loaf ass to the shores, and we're out of there. I mean, like I said, he is a goddamn professional for a reason. Get yourself a loaf. I mean, the Azov is a separate issue entirely, but in my defence, I never actually, like, even from the fact that I waited for the saving cogs, I wouldn't consider this like a loaf rescue situation. I was genuinely amazed that I was somehow, and again, there was a lot of editing involved because this is hours and hours, but of me messing around, by the way, like, that's how it's trial and error. That's why I don't like to do this sort of stuff on a live stream, because I don't know if it'll take 5 minutes or 50 minutes. And I don't like to keep you guys waiting if there's, like, yeah, being stuck on, like, having to stick to one certain thing and just keep doing it for ages. But when I'm in my own time, I'm having the time of my life. So anyway, not only did my loaf get out there, he brought the trailer over to this side. So I started reversing in. There's the trailer. Right, the winch can't reach the iceberg. Sorry, not the iceberg, the Antarctic. So then I started pushing the trailer in the water. See, these are the things you've got to try. And the trailer floated, so I reversed the loaf on top of it. I mean, Jesus Christ, we tried some stuff, I'm telling you. He's on his own little pontoon. Yeah, went to try the winch. But it wasn't, like, I've got the autonomous winch at the minute, so yeah. I couldn't reach the Azov, even though it's probably there, the water is just broken when it comes to winches. So, I went to the garage, I fetched a trailer, couldn't reach. So I went back to the garage, got a advanced winch. I'm just throwing it out there. If I had to recover the loaf to the garage because I couldn't get there or whatever, I'd consider that a fail. But my loaf got out of the water, I drove most of the way to the garage, and then I was like, what the hell am I doing? And I just recovered the garage. Stuck the advanced winch on, came back. So, yeah, I've never actually had to do it before, but that is within the rules. My loaf can go and get supplies or whatever it needs to. As long as the loaf doesn't tip and need rescuing itself, it counts. I mean, look at it, my loaf is literally going insane. I needed a little window of time. I'll explain the water thing, but as you can see, my loaf was just not happy about not being able to save everything at the minute, so he's gone mental. He's driving around in circles on his own. Basically, what I just did right now, but I missed the footage, was reverse the Dolphin into the water to try and reach the Azov with the winch points at the back of the trailer. But when I reverse in, the trailer floats. Now the problem with the water and the winch is, imagine a right angled triangle, and imagine like the shortest side is 3 meters, then you got 4 meters, and then the hypotenuse would be 5 meters. So you got like a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So imagine horizontally along the water, the Azov is 4 meters away, and then straight down, it's 3 meters down. The hypotenuse would be 5 meters, so you'd need a 5 meter winch to reach the Azov. But the way it works on this game is like, you have to have the winch length to go horizontally along the water, which would be your 4 meters, it's just this hypothetical, and then 3 meters down, which add them together is 7, so you'd need a 7 meter winch. So if you had a 6 meter winch, you should be able to reach the Azov, but because of the way the game works, it doesn't let you go directly to something underwater. It's like you have to go horizontally and then down, which is like the longest way to go. And that's basically why the Dolphin couldn't reach the Azov. So, what are we on now, like Plan J or something like that? This is the bridge that I should have used, however. we were trying some things, well, let me tell you. So, I brought a loaf along with a trailer, and I jumped off the bridge onto a trailer. I was like, God damn it, I'll row my way to that Antarctic. I'm coming, Antarctic. My loaf has got like rescue withdrawals. He's going in. And again, there is I've edited a hell of a lot because this is like, I don't know, 8 hours condensed into 15 minutes or something. But yeah, we floated, took about 20 minutes to float my way down there. I jumped off the trailer. I still couldn't reach the Azov, so then you can see got an orange loaf, zombie loaf. Yeah, I'm zombie loafing my way back in from the shore. I mean, doing a pretty fine job of it, if I do say so myself. See, told you, 2 loafs I can get anywhere. So yeah, I'm using orange loaf to zombie winch me towards the Antarctic, which I did get there, and I did do a bit of jiggling around. I think I did zombie winch it a bit, but again, it's so deep that I can't even see what the hell's going on. So, next plan. I'm sat on the trailer, reversing the Dolphin in. Reversing the Dolphin in. I'm using the trailer as a platform. Alright. Can I reach the Azov? God damn it. But you see, when I go to change truck, look where it says it is. Like, my winch is within range, but it's a lying bastard. So, I went back to the garage, and I got an advanced winch again, because at some point I'd changed to an autonomous winch, because when I did the, like, row you loaf, gently downstream, I had an autonomous, because I knew I'd have to dive in, like a goddamn lifeguard. Again, giving me flashbacks of when that teacher threw a brick in the water, when she thought I was drowning. Like, cheers. It was literally... That brick has one job, to sink to the bottom as fast as possible, and that's what you threw me to save me. That's how qualified teachers had to be back in the 90s. Yeah, so as you can see, reversing along, got me advanced winch, I can finally reach the Azov, which the Dolphin couldn't with the trailer. I'll explain why soon. So we got it with a loaf. I was like, oh, I'm hoovering it in. We're having a good time. We are moving down the trailer. That can only mean good things. We are officially pulling the Antarctic. And then I was looking around like, hang on a minute. Oh. Basically, the loaf was so powerful that he wasn't moving forward. The entire universe was being moved backwards from the sheer horsepower of his rear wheels. So instead of pulling the Azov out, I kind of drove, well, yeah, you know, kind of forced the trailer more in, which pulled the Dolphin in. I mean, he's a dolphin, so he should be alright. So now we're all in the middle. I was like, oh god damn it, this is going horrific. Horrifically great. I was having the time of my life. Time of my loaf, should I say. And then, when I released the winch, my nose started dropping down, and my engine stalled. I was like, oh no. This is bad. This could be it. Fixes his engine, because he's a goddamn horse, but it's stalled, it won't start, because now the snorkel is too low in the water. Could this be the end of Mr. Loaf? Of course it's not. Switch to the Dolphin, detached trailer. Like a wet phoenix from watery fire. He's back. Although we're tipping. It's looking dangerous. Safety winch deployed. Now I'll admit, I'm not that experienced at trying to reverse on trailers in the middle of the ocean. But he is a goddamn horse of a vehicle, he is a quick learner. And he is now. It's like Pirates of the Loaf of Being. He's Loaf Sparrow. He's got his own goddamn vessel. Look at him go. Oh yeah, we have drowned a dolphin as well though, but you know, took one for the team. And to be fair, I could have done it, I just couldn't be arsed, but I could have dragged this trailer down here with a loaf and shoved it into the water myself, so I'm just throwing that out there, but I couldn't be arsed, like there's only so much time I had to be doing stuff, so yeah. Yeah, as you can see, he's kind of hooked himself. You remember when you were a kid? He's got like a little floaty, he's basically shoved a giant floaty trailer under his armpits. And then he's paddling for dear life whilst trying to pull the Azov along, the Antarctic. So, long story short, I kept floating down the river a bit and I couldn't reach the Antarctic anymore, so I used the orange loaf, pulled the trailer a bit nearer, jumped off, got the trailer out with the white loaf, stuck it, oh yeah, sorry, and then recovered the Dolphin. Sadly, I forgot to save, like, for more than 15 minutes, so I missed the bit where I pulled the Dolphin out, but I promise you, I genuinely pulled it out with the loaf. It wasn't even that hard, because the Dolphin rolled in backwards, it was like, it was facing the right way. I basically zombie winched it out of there, so it was a hell of a lot easier. Like, it was nowhere near as in the middle as this bloody Azov Antarctic. However, what I did learn was when you sit a loaf on the trailer sinks a bit, and the reason I couldn't get the Azov, the Antarctic, with the Dolphin was when I reversed the trailer into the water, the back end of the trailer would float and stick out the water, and it wasn't able to reach the Antarctic. But when I reversed it in with a loaf on the trailer, it sat low enough that I could reach it. I mean, look at that. Save. Like, he was literally tipping off. That was about to be it. Because I can't remember, but I might have gone back again and got a advanced winch for this loaf. So if I'd fell off into the water, that would have been like the run over. But yeah, basically, by sitting a loaf on the very back of the trailer, I could sink that low enough to reach the Azov. And then, as you can see, again, I cut forward, but a lot of zombie winching and all that sort of stuff. We're on it with a loaf. We're dropping the hammer. I'm still on my trailer again. We've cut a lot out. I was like, oh no, don't do it, loaf. He flung a panic winch out. And he is hugging the crap out of that trailer. He is nothing if not a resourceful survival loaf. So we got him out of there. I moved the Dolphin out of the way, because now I'm on shore and I can reach the Antarctic. And I was thinking, oh god, surely we got it in the bag by now. I can see it, I can smell it, I can taste it. The loaf, he knows what to do. Digging his rear end. I actually think I went so deep into the mud at some point that I think my wheels went through the map. I got him back out, because again, he's a goddamn horse of a vehicle, but I'm just saying, yeah, there's some serious high-level snow runner action going on right now. This was like, the game was pushing its luck. It was pushing my loaf. How dare it. Oh yes, we're making progress. The zombie winch is working, as well as kind of ass in ground mode. So we got it to about here. Again, I'll skip my way forward a bit. So I drove up. I was now able to get behind these rocks. The reason I was facing forward was because the front bumper digs in better. The rear's pretty good at flicking over things if you want it to. However, there's no central winch point at the front, and it was off-centering me with the rock. So, as you can see, I even winched to a log first, so I can drive forward, spin my wheels, dig myself a little loaf hole, get my rear end tucked down, and it was like, right, this is it, boys, the final push.
But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on, we're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
I mean, what an absolute goddamn horse of a vehicle. He pulled off the impossible one, I reckon. I had to change it to midday. He deserved it. I needed to see this with maximum light. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're as good as we're as good as there. The loaf, he did it. He didn't give up. I mean, good luck. If anyone wants to go and stick an Azov Antarctic slap bang in the middle of this giant, fat, deep-ass river and then get it out, best of luck to you. I would personally recommend abort mission. I will just throw out, though, this was more than just... I genuinely would have just recovered the Azov Antarctic, and it wouldn't have bothered me as like a loaf rescue situation or anything, but they were my bricks. I got them bricks, and the map thought it could take my bricks, and they're the loaf's bricks. So, yeah, I wanted my bricks back. That's what I was going after. So I forget the Antarctic. I just needed the Antarctic because the bricks were sat on it. So that is basically why I went through all that craziness to rescue this thing. And it was worth it. See again, see the Azov just bleeding all its power until you stick it low range with the diffs on. So long story short, do you know what? One of the worst horrific things about the ending of this? The cranes on the Dolphin was so weak, getting the loaf up onto this Antarctic, I keep wanting to call it the iceberg, yeah, was a nightmare. But I put them onto the bricks, not just because the crane was horrific, but I figured slightly lower weight distribution now. I mean, again, he's a professional. He thinks of others. So there is actually a little road going up here. When you look on the map, it didn't really look that convincing as a road. I just kind of seen that it was possibly physically possible. So, as you can see, I'm a sucker for taking shortcuts. And I mean, again, that's what was making me think, like, I just crossed that river, but it probably did take me about 8 hours. But is that a shortcut? Because it was shorter distance than going the long way to the bridge, but it definitely wasn't as quick as going just round to the bridge, unless I'd had some horrific accident on the bridge. But yeah, so I mean, does that even count as a shortcut? Who knows? Either way though, we made it. We showed the game who's boss. We sent in the professional, and he got it done, somehow, some way. And we got our bricks. All that was basically, and again, I know I was like messing around, wasting more time than I needed to. Yeah, because I didn't want to go somewhere else and steal more bricks, because like I said, I'd like to leave some brick structures around the map. But I also kind of couldn't be asked, out of principle, to go and have to actually get 2 cement, 2 packaged sand, go to the quarry, build the bricks, and then drive all the way to the paper factory, or drop them off at with the Antarctic. I was just like, no, too stubborn. That was my problem, and the loaf agreed. So yeah, that was the crazy, what I would consider is definitely the impossible rescue. Not only did the loaf, I mean, what did we do? First, the loaf drove in there, and it was incredibly deep. That's what she said. Then another loaf phased through a P16. I don't know what was going on there. But then we winched the trailer and used it as a raft to float out of there. Then we tried a variety of different trailers to reach the Antarctic. Then we jumped off a bridge onto a trailer and rowed our loaf gently down the stream at the Antarctic, and then dived in after it, and we missed. Then we zombie winched a loaf to the Antarctic, and zombie winched it a bit, but again, I couldn't really see what was going on because the water's so deep, the camera's just kind of pressed up against the water. This is definitely what she said, but what you have to do is basically, with the camera, is like pull it out and then slam it back in, and you kind of punch through the water for a second and can see a little bit, and then the camera automatically rises back up. And then all I could see was an oil slick and darkness. So, did yeah, a lot of that. And then I sat on the back of a step deck and went fishing for an Antarctic. Oh no, then we used a trailer as a floaty under our armpits and did a bit more zombie winching. And then we sat on a trailer and fished for an Antarctic. And then yeah, we zombie winched it from the shore, dug our ass into the actual terrain, possibly glitched our wheels through to another dimension whilst I was doing it, but... And then we got there, and then I hid behind a rock. Well, not hid behind a rock. I bravely used a rock to wedge myself, and we hauled this big fat beast, which I can now confirm is not the best zombie winch vehicle. One of the reasons it's not a very good zombie winch vehicle is because it has articulation, very weak articulation at that. When it wants to turn, it bends the whole truck, not just turns its wheels. So then when you're trying to drag it somewhere, like when I was trying to winch it out of the water and all sorts, it's trying to flex its nose, and yeah, it's just not going well. So I would be interested to see what will happen if I take the iceberg back there. So we made it, we're finally here. I was like, oh yeah, god damn it. Loaf. Right there, where I was I know that looks like it was just horrific turning, but I was genuinely turning left way before. But basically, as I was slowing down, the trailer was pushing against my Antarctic, and the articulation is so weak, I couldn't turn because I couldn't fight against the weight of the trailer. Tried to give it a good old ramming. We rammed the loaf out of the way in the end. I cut a bit out because it was just a little bit of faffing around, but finally we were able to touch that little zone where we can... Yeah, that definitely sounded a lot more horrifically perverted than it was supposed to be, but we're allowed to deliver our cargo now. Well, that doesn't make it sound much better really, does it? Oh yeah, bricks. For some reason, every time... Oh yeah, unpack the loaf, because I don't know why, I just thought if I deliver one set of bricks, and because the loaf is packed, it evaporates the other set of bricks, I might have to drop kick my TV through the bay windows, one story down onto the driveway, which probably wouldn't go too well. I was enjoying this animation though. This made it all not worth it. No, it was. I had a good old time, I was enjoying it, and the fact that I did beat the map and rescue the Azov from the impossible, I'm happy. It was a good time. Like 4,000, nearly 5,000 XP would be nice if I had any use for it in the last 10 months. Money, 35 grand, pretty good wodge, but for what I just went through, I was hoping for a bit more of a payout than that. I might have to go and glitch a few Navistar engines to cheer myself up, but yeah, we got it done, and of course, That was all made possible by this goddamn horse. And I even made sure I kept going back to the garage to swap winches. Like, I didn't switch loafs and stuff. This beast did it. Anyway, that's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a horse, of course, and I'll be back soon.